It's fine to have the relative. We actually need the relative. The old school, well, I can understand how this came about, but the old school of thinking, sort of what I call nondual fundamentalism, is that you transcend the personal life and you transcend to go into the spiritual. You in a sense, transcend the relative. And actually, from a very particular description, that's accurate. That's actually an accurate description of becoming awareness. That when you are just awareness, you have, in a sense, transcended the personal. But that's just the beginning. I don't know why people think that's the end. That would be really bad news. It's the beginning of finding out how to be fully human, about how to actually live this life, and how to approach work and relationships with yourself and others. It's the beginning. And most people go through a real regroup when their identity shifts from the personal to the absolute, so to speak, and then have to figure out how to do this life. Some people make big changes. Some people find out how to, they discover how to live the life they've been living from this new perspective. And that could take some time. Because the organic personal is a learning process. It's a growing and learning a process, and that's fine. So we don't eject the personal for the spiritual. We actually come back and fully embrace it. And so even if there are parts of ourselves that have been traumatized or are going through physical challenges, which most people have, or financial challenges, whatever kind of challenges that we're faced with, it gives us the possibility to face that and work with it in a way that we might not have otherwise. To have that global perspective, that global is too small, that infinite perspective. And it is not our personal mind. It's not our personal will. And that's what's so incredible about what we're doing here, I think, on a human level, is that we actually experience for real that we actually are connected. Even if we don't know each other here, for instance, or even if but there's something else that we can feel. You can sense that field. I find it's amazing even with, Skype calls with people in Australia or even phone. And even without any of that. I was driving to an appointment a couple of weeks ago and all of a sudden had this strong sense to call a dear friend who had been having a very challenging time with her ailing husband. I just had a real strong sense to reach out right at that moment, and I called and left a message. I got a text later that day from her. The timing of your call was amazing. Right after you called, he died. I don't understand that. But as you become more available, you're moved by it, by whatever that is. Everyone gets things like this. These amazing intuitions that are incomprehensible, really, that you can't really figure out. My experience from this realm is that it's like I'm, was just born or something. That's why I like to do puppets and things. I don't know. Oh, I forgot Ducky. I got a new puppet. I forgot to bring it. It's pretty funny, actually. Got a kind of curmudgeon facial expression. It's really, really great. I put a picture of him on Facebook the other day. It just was hysterical. Sort of the counterexample to the bunny. So I think we have this kind of innocent, we have a kind of, not, I mean, maybe innocence is the right word, but a kind of fresh attitude, kind of open availability. And in that we find that our hearts are connected, that we, and I'm convinced that the highest human experience is the connection of the heart at the high level. That's just the ultimate meaning of our life as humans. As I've been sharing recently, when you shift into this perception of awakened awareness, when you perceive from there, everything and everyone is within you. So how you take care of yourself then becomes a whole new relationship with yourself, because as you take care of yourself, you take care of everything and everyone. So they're not out there anymore. I think that's how in the Kahuna tradition they discovered what's called Ho'oponopono. It's really that's the understanding. Is that the way they'd say is that we created everything. We're responsible for everything. It's all within us. So it really is about finding out how to allow all of those so-called parts to reintegrate. And that's why suffering is the raw material for freedom. Because any parts that are still in pain or confused or lost or frustrated or unfulfilled, they all get to come back into the space. They all get to be heard. They all get to be seen. They all get to be accepted for the construct that they are. And once that happens, those little identities release naturally all by themselves and dissolve and expand into this presence. So literally the dark turns into the light. So there's no more worry about, from the awakened perspective, that there are parts that are still unconscious or disconnected or whatever. It's actually, come on in. Not, I guess I'm not that enlightened after all, or I better repress that and, just do spiritual bypass. Of course, that's an unconscious thing, as some people rudely discover down the road. I think it really helps to know that awakening is really the beginning the opportunity to begin. To really continually discover, continually become more sensitive as a human.